What's up, y'all? It's your girl Black Rose, aka the Concrete Rose. And if you know anything about concrete, it's definitely hard to break. We got T-Bone, Proud on the Slime TV on here. We're gonna talk about what we was versus what we are today, and we're gonna get real deep into what it was out there in the streets. And with that being said, we're gonna get into it. Now, the first live we started, we had to go out and come back in, but that's all right though. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Like she said, man, tune in to Slime TV NYC. On Instagram and on YouTube. Slime TV NYC. That's a new platform that me and my brother got out in Vegas. We also got Slime TV Las Vegas. So once again, Slime TV NYC, Slime TV Las Vegas. Your host right here, T-Bone, also known as Mujahead. Thank you for bringing me on your platform, Black Rose.
Thank you for joining. I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
Likewise. Listen, I wanted to ask you a question because, to my knowledge, you're an author, right?
I'm an author.
Okay, what inspired you to write the book 13C?
13C. Bro, you pass me. I should have a copy in there just so the people can see real quick.
Yes,
We're
sir.
gonna get into 13C. We'll talk about 13C real quick. It's not in there, and it's in the middle part. So yeah. Alright. 13C by me, Terrence T-Bone Gordon. All right, what inspired me about to write 13C, long story short, in 2015, I was arrested for criminal possession of a concealed firearm. And 2 months into my, uh, how would you say it, my incarceration in the county, my son mother died. May she rest in peace. So,
Rest in peace.
after sentencing, I was sentenced to 5 years in sent upstate, New York Correctional Penitentiary. So to cope with her death, her demise, I started, just writing down everything I remember since I was 5 years old. Like literally, like my memory is immaculate. I remember everything.
Hmm.
And I wrote down all these stories, all these memories, like literally, ladies and gentlemen. I wrote down everything that I remembered since I was 5 years old up until now. And instead of just having like a huge book that was probably from here to the ceiling, I just broke it up into parts. And my first how would you say it? My first test was 13C. 13C is basically a short urban novel about sex, drugs, and rock and roll in East Harlem projects. Namely, Wagner Projects is where I'm from in East Harlem. El Barrio, aka Hell Barrio. Um, the book consists of crude humor, foul language, sexual content, some substance abuse, and some violence. But once again, it's fun. It'll definitely crack you up. Like I said, man, like I had one hell of a life
You sure
as
did.
opposed to most, hood books, quote unquote. You ain't gonna read nothing about selling kilos and drive-bys and all of that wild stuff. When people ask me what 13C is about, I pretty much let them know, like, if they ever seen the movie Half Baked. You ever seen Half Baked?
Yeah, I sure did.
I tell them 13C is Half Baked in the Harlem Projects, part of my language, but with cocaine and bitches. That's 13C.
All right. So
Don't judge me.
I
Read
am
it. It's
I am
funny.
not
You can
here.
get it on Amazon.
I'm not here to judge
You can
you.
find it on Amazon. 13C. Take a good look at it again. It's the funny. I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, this might be the funniest book you might ever read in your life. And there's more to come. I also got Wet Dreams out on Amazon.
It's part two.
And yeah, I actually got two books on Amazon, but the first one is this one right here, 13C. I'm gonna keep it short.
Well, I need that copy too because, ladies and gentlemen, Your girl Black Rose definitely got 13C. So make sure y'all head over to Amazon and go get y'all copy. Once again, 13C by T. Gordon. Y'all not gonna be disappointed.
You're not. I got a question, a short
Okay.
question. We don't want to elaborate. Did you read
Sure.
13C?
I read like half of it, almost half of it. And I was like, Chris picked the book up, my son,
No.
and
Let
I said, let me hide this book. Let me hide this
me
book.
hide this book. Let me
But
hide
it
this
is,
book.
I'm telling y'all, just make sure y'all cop that. You're gonna laugh.
Right. Make sure your kids don't. Make sure if you got children under 18, make sure that they don't pick that book up and read
I
it.
want
I
to get
read you the
into
content. You know what it's about. You've been given fair warning.
I want to get into some questions with
Shoot,
you about
shoot.
how we made. How did you
That's easy.
how did we
You want? All
how did
right.
we
For
meet?
those who don't, all right. You want me to give detail?
I
All right.
mean,
I'm gonna make it brief. I'm gonna make it brief and in detail. In about the year 1995, like I told my bro over here, in the year 1994, 1995, when my mom turned her life around. Thank you to the Almighty for that. She met she met a gangster. I'm gonna be straight up, yo. She met a gangster, and we called him AJ. We not, you know what I'm saying? And AJ was the one who pretty much, you feel me, took me out to street life. You know what I'm saying? Because he was I considered AJ a gangster. Not, I never seen this man kill nobody. You know what I'm saying? Not like that. You know what I'm saying? Not like that. You know what I'm saying? Not like that. People get the terminology gangster misconstrued.
right.
I said he was a gangster, not a killer, not a murderer. He was a gangster. What I mean by that is he was sturdy. He was thorough. That's the word I should have used. He was thorough. You know what I'm saying? And my mom was with this guy. This is my mom's fiance for some time. And he used to come around, what I mean? He's from Brooklyn. You feel me? He used to take me to Fort Greene, Queensbridge Projects in New York City. And he always talked about his sister. He used to call her Chucky, you feel me? And I'm like, yo, what you mean Chucky? You feel me? And he was like, yo, you ever seen a black Chucky doll? I'm like, I don't understand. You feel me? I don't understand. Mind you, I'm young. I'm like 15, 16. You feel me, homie? I'm like, yo, I don't understand. So I think it was one summer, like 1996. He
What's
came
winter?
by my mom's crib and he was like, yo, you want to come? You want to meet my sister? So I think he called his sister and we spoke very briefly. And I heard a bunch of girls in the background. Like I said, I'm young, so I want to go. I'm like, yeah, I'm with it. So me hearing this group, I grabbed two of my friends from Harlem. They'd never been to Brooklyn in their life. And I said, yo, we going to East New York because that's where AJ's sister was from. I'm
Nah,
gonna reveal who his sister was in a minute. You heard?
that's where I was living at that time.
All right, you just made it hot. So the sister is Black
Oh,
Rose. For anybody that didn't know, you heard? There she go. So we went out there to East New York, and it was pretty much a party going on. You feel me? And like I said, me being young, and they vibe. They was aggressive. I was used to aggressive Brooklyn girls. So I used to go to King High School. For anybody from New York City that know back in the days, you know what I'm saying? Brooklyn girls with big door knockers. They talk that son lingo. You feel me? Yo, son, yo, son. And I'm used to that. You feel me? But like my dudes from uptown, they wasn't used to that. So they was like kind of like uncomfortable with it. You heard? Except for this one friend who actually stayed. And the other guy, he wound up, he was petrified. He wound up leaving. You feel me? And we stayed. You feel me? And Chucky, aka
Black Rose.
Black Rose, came out the room with the turban on. Yeah, she used to wear the turban, ladies and gentlemen. She had the big turban on, looked like Nefertiti, whatever. Looked like Nefertiti, like the look. And
Oh,
no offense, she looked like a Chucky doll.
I
Before the
really and I
song, she
still
looked like a
do
brown skinned
see.
Chucky doll. Chucky was cute. You seen Bride of Chucky? Everybody used to see Bride of Chucky? She really looked like Chucky doll, you heard? She looked like a girl Chucky doll. The big smile, always smiling, but just had that look like chill, you heard? Like wicked, respectfully. Respectfully. Not evil, not I should have said mean. You look mean, but you wasn't weren't mean. You feel me? Can I be straight up? Can I be
Hey,
so we was drinking 40s. These girls, they had 40s and they had blunts and we smoking weed and all
we
that.
was
And
wild.
we was
We
just chilling.
was.
They was rapping. Black Rose, she was rapping and stuff, and me and my boy, we started, freestyle, bugging out, and her friends, and we, I don't know what happened, we all just passed out in her living room. Everybody just crashed, you feel me? And the next morning, I remember her brother calling me like, "You ready to come home?" And I was like, "Nah, man, I ain't ready to come home." But my mom was so petrified, 'cause like I said, we was in East New York, and this is the 90s in East New York, like a battle zone, you heard? As opposed
Oh
to how East
yeah.
New York they look now, you heard?
Oh yeah.
I'm talking about like 95, 96, when East New York looked
Trenches.
like Iran dropped a bomb on it, you heard?
Mm.
You feel me? So, but like I said, me personally, I wasn't worried about it. You feel me? Like I was comfortable with the situation, and but that's how I met Black Rose, aka Chucky Dog.
You know what?
You heard?
He's the
And
only
respectfully,
one. He the only one that can get away
we've
with
been
this,
pretty much
y'all.
like great friends ever since then. You know what I'm saying?
That's my
Real
people's
talk,
right
bro.
there. But I will
Real talk.
say this about him.
We stayed in each other's lives ever since then, since like 1995, 1996, yo.
I got another question for you, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Um, what was your life like? What was life like for you? How did you become who you are today? What I want all the young people out there to know, because right now the man that I see on this podcast, I am so proud of you, because we really came a long way. I'm not, when we ran them streets, we're not gonna say too much.
Right.
We ran them streets.
Respectfully.
We ran them streets. You understand? People look at us now and they don't know where we came from. But the reason why I got him on this podcast is to let y'all see that no matter where you come from, no matter what your past is, it's always a better way. And I want him to let y'all know who he was versus who he is today, the way he would tell it, you know. Who made you? What made you who you are today?
All right, I'm gonna try to filter it out and just
Mm-hmm.
say that I pretty much woke up one day. You heard?
Mm-hmm.
Um, to make it more understandable without saying too much, like Black Rose said, like I was reckless, for better words, when I was younger.
Oh yeah.
And one day, more than once, actually 1 year,
Speak your
God took his
mind.
shield away from me. You feel me? If that makes sense to anybody. You know, I'm not trying to get religious or nothing about that, but I'm
No,
just
you
letting y'all,
did.
just trying to make people understand,
Mm-hmm.
because
Talk
I
to him.
wasn't no killer, but don't push me. Like my son Pac said, you heard?
True
We don't,
story.
you feel me? We did that, you feel me? But when the tables turned, you feel me? And when I was laying in the hospital and when the homies wasn't there for me, you feel me? Like how I was there for them, real talk, bro. It was like, you feel me?
Mm-hmm.
You dig? The
Oh, I
bigs, you
know.
feel me? And that's and when I speak, I'm not talking about, I don't wanna criticize, you know what I mean, them as a whole, but I mean like personally, I'm personalizing this. You feel me? But like
Mm-hmm.
individuals, you feel me? I'm not gonna say no names. I'm not trying to make nobody wavy or make nobody famous. But when I was in them dark spaces, you feel me?
Right.
It
I
wasn't
feel you.
nobody there for me. You dig? The way that
Nope.
I was there for them.
I feel
But
you.
you know, something inside of me woke me up
Mm.
respectfully. You heard? We all know what that
Right.
is. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Without us turning this in to church and all that and
I
getting
got
crazy
you.
or the mosque. You heard? Or the mosque. You feel me?
I
Because
feel
as
you
y'all
though.
see, you
Speak
feel
your
me?
truth though. Speak your truth. What?
Absolutely. You know, I seen God, bro, and I seen the devil. You heard? And I ain't like it. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And respectfully, I said, all right, bro. And on top of that, I got kids. I got
Right.
babies. You feel me? And
Mm-hmm.
real talk, bro. And this is for everybody to hear, anybody in this room. I had to. I literally made a conscious decision, yo. And I started thinking about shit like that. Like, damn, bro. Like, like for example, like I remember the first incident that happened, and when I came home, you know, I'm all gauzed up. Like my daughter was 4 years old at the time. This was 2010, you heard? And when I went in the crib and I picked my 4 year old daughter up, and she touched my scars and shit, she was like, you know, babies talk gibberish. You feel me? But my 4 year old daughter was touching my scars. She was like, "Daddy, you hurt?" And even though, and I wasn't, you feel me, physically hurt, but just by her saying that, that shit hurt my feelings, bro. You heard?
Yes.
From that
Yes.
child, from my child saying that. You feel me? And I was like, oh shit. And I remember started crying. I remember putting my daughter down and going in the bathroom, you heard? And lighting up, you heard? You feel me? Because that was that around that time, lighting up. And I said, yo, God forbid, right? If I died, you know, gangbanging, quote unquote, onto the streets, what are people going to say to my children? You feel me? About how their dad died.
That's
You
right.
understand me?
Yes, sir.
Right, as opposed to, you know, me dying in an airplane or, you know, any people die, or people die every day. You know what I'm saying? But me personally, I just wanted them to hear something better about me dying, as opposed to dying to a bunch of bitch ass niggas who ain't give a fuck about me. Astaghfirullah, Allah forgive me, God forgive me. But that's just how I felt at that time. Like, yo, right, you understand me? And that's when I said, you know what? Let me step off this. You heard? You feel me? Because like I said, it's one too many times in that hospital, and dudes ain't come to check me out. You know what I mean? Woo woo. And it was like, nah, bro. Like, nah, bro. I felt stupid. You heard? I felt stupid because I lost a lot of friends, even family members, doing the things that I used to do. To this day, I got family members who scared to get next to me because of that. You feel me? It's of that past. You heard? And that's whack. But it is what it is. But I say all that to say, my kids still mess with me though. Thank God, you heard? My kids ain't afraid to come around me. To this day, I can get all my kids. We go to movies, we go to parks, we do whatever we do. You heard?
Right.
But to answer your question, what made me do a 360 was that. You know what I'm saying? When I was in that dark space, wasn't nobody there for me, bro, but the Most High, yo. You feel me? And that was the game changer right there. Dig?
Was that time when me and my partner, the Big L, came to see you, and I broke
When
down
y'all
and
came in
cried
that
when I seen
hospital,
you in the
when y'all
hospital?
came
Yeah,
when
I
y'all came
remember
in
that,
that,
son. I remember that.
that's crazy that you just said that because
It was me and
last
Lola.
week when I was over there with her and we were doing, you know, my little slime TV thing, I mentioned that to her. Emerald, the one in the video that I showed you earlier with the yeah.
Yeah.
I said, you know what's crazy, bro? When that happened to me, yo, when I woke up in the hospital, you and Chucky was sitting and I ain't see y'all in years. In
Doggone right,
over
because
10 years.
you
I
know
ain't see her
why.
since 1997. This happened to me in 2010. And she was in that hospital. I don't know if you called her up or how that happened,
I don't
but
even
they were in that
remember. I
hospital,
know we
bro.
heard that you was there.
The bros wasn't in the hospital for me, bro. And
The
not saying
females pulled
that
up.
and not saying that, you know, dudes would have blew something up and up. It was just the point. You feel me? It was just the point. Like, yo, come see if a nigga alive. Come see if I'm breathing. Come see, yo, the kids is good. So you gonna be in the hospital a couple days. Yo, you want me to go run some food over there? Yo, you need some diapers? You don't get that. You heard?
Right.
We don't get that. And that's just the reality of it. And that shit, like I said, me personally, I took that personal, yo. I took that personal. And like I said, not to hate the whole, you know, the organization, not to hate them as all, but like I said, I just had to make it. Yeah, man. Before I went full set trip, you heard? Before I went full set trip, you feel me? Monster Cody, you feel me? I just, you know what? Let me chill, bro. You heard? Let me chill and right, get it together. You heard? But yeah, man,
Yep.
that's it, man. And like how Black Rose said in the beginning of the questionnaire, we talking about how people can convert their lives from being, you know, on demon time, quote unquote, to not so much, you know, godly time, but be a
Just
grown
change
up.
your life. Just change
Be
your
a
life.
grown up. You know what I'm saying? Be an adult, quote
Get
unquote.
it together.
You feel me? There you go. You feel me?
That's right. I feel you, and I
Like
respect
wake up,
that.
wake up, be conscious, be your own person, be Be who you was here to be.
So if you can
Feel me?
tell, the young people today, cause see, I'm gonna keep it a being with y'all. For my audience, I'm gonna keep it a being with y'all. I know this brother right here, and that's real talk. I kind of like ran with him. You feel me? I know a lot of stuff. I'm not gonna say too much,
We
but
ran around.
I know a lot
We
of
ran
stuff. We
around
ran
for a
around.
couple of years.
I was hood too. I'm gonna keep it a band. I was not who I am today, and for me to be able
Respectfully,
to,
I appreciate. I mean, even if you were still the old person, I still would have loved you the same way I love you now. But for those that don't know, yeah, man, yeah, we was outside. Like I said, this woman is from East New York, bro. Anybody who ever heard or know anything about the East, it was rough, yo. This woman had it rough, bro. We had it rough. You know what I'm saying? So for her to be doing what she doing, with you know, the podcast, the movies, and you know her surroundings, respectfully, yo. 'Cause I would never thought to see her, you know what I mean, even around them type of people. Because back then you would look at people like that like you corny, you know what I'm saying? But respectfully, you know what I'm
yo,
saying?
he's speaking his truth. Okay, he's speaking his truth. What would you be able to tell these young people out here today? Cause see, this generation that we got now, you understand what I'm saying? They
Right? They don't
don't
got.
listen. They know it all. They think they got it all mapped out. They think that they really doing something. You understand? They have no respect for life, no regard for life. If you could tell them anything to make them see it a better way, what would you tell them, T?
Right, and that's because they have no guidance, yo.
Right.
And that's just what that is, yo. And
But
it's
what would you
sad. You feel
tell
me?
them? What would you tell them? How would you kick it with them? Cause see, a lot of adults, some of them is still stuck in that madness, and they out there with this generation thinking it's cool. Instead of telling them, no, little man or baby girl, that's not no. Do it this way. Listen, I did this. This happened to me, and I don't want that to happen to you. So you feel me?
I mean, it's difficult to
It
try to.
is.
It's difficult to try to school somebody in the city
That's true
to do
too.
something. You know why? Because it's the environment. You know, you can't tell somebody, yo, don't do this, that, because they'll listen to you while they're in the crib. But once they go outside and back around their people who ain't
But
ain't hearing that same information,
that seed is there though.
you feel me? It's there. So what I learned, what you have to do is they have to get out of that environment. Take them on a bus trip. You feel me? I know this
Right.
might sound stupid or corny,
No, it
whatever, but
don't.
nah.
No, it don't. You
Get them a
speaking truth.
Greyhound ticket. You feel me? Get them a Greyhound ticket. Take a long ride with them somewhere. You feel me? Take them outside
Facts.
of the, take them outside for a while, for a couple of days, for a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months, and I promise you, they might not even want to go back home. They might not even want to go back to the trenches. They
Yep.
might not even want to go back to the hood. You know? Because real talk, these kids they want peace, yo. They want peace.
And they
But
parents
but you
stay
but you know what it is?
stuck.
They don't know peace because they never felt peace. You understand me? Because they around all that negative energy. So that's all
Right.
that they know is that negative energy. But I promise you, them kids, once you bring them, show them something better, they're not gonna want to go back, bro. I know so many kids, just all this week, I was interviewing young boys, young Crips, young Bloods, young
That's what I'm talking about.
Jason disciples in New York City
That's
who
right.
went to prison, came home. Like these dudes got their own cribs. They're not outside no more. You feel me? So you got to change the environment, yo. Once they change the environment, they change the way they think. You feel me? Once they get out of
That's
that
right.
negative energy, you feel me?
And you
Right.
know what's crazy? I'm not trying to speak bad about none of no family members and nothing like that. But if I had that opportunity, I know
Right.
it would have been good. So with
Nah,
that
but
being,
but don't even do that, yo, because we grew through what we went through.
I
Right, bro. You
understand, but
heard?
I'm just saying a lot of the generation now they don't know, like a lot of us ain't have that option.
Right.
So that's all I'm saying. So
And
pretty
it's
much
all good, yo, cause look what we doing now, you heard?
facts.
There was a reason why we went through that. You feel me?
Hmm.
That experience. Cause who knows what would happen if we didn't. Like, if that makes sense.
It does.
It made us who we are, yo. Concrete, you heard?
I appreciate that. I grew
Concrete.
through
Straight like
concrete.
that.
And with that being said, everybody make sure that y'all check out Slime TV. He's in 13C. Get your copy on Amazon.
Get your copy on Amazon.
He's on
Slime
Slime
TV.
TV.
Slime TV.
TV.
Slime
Slime
underscore TV
TV.
underscore NYC.
You can
Check it
follow him
out.
on Instagram.
Seeing life in my eyes, from pain to purpose. We talking to ex-gang affiliates who grew through what we went through. Like I said, we trying to change the stat quo, trying to teach these young dudes, even some old dudes, how to think before you throw your life away and be in jail forever, bro. Cause jail is whack. Jail is wiggity whack. You heard? Like crisscross. You heard? Ain't no girls in prison jail, bro. Ain't no money in jail. Ain't nothing in there but torture. You heard? Just whack.
Facts.
Feel me?
So
Yo, I love you, Chucky. I mean, Black Rose.
that's all right. Come on, you know me, know me. So we good.
Chill. Yo, you gotta get back on that too. I remember back in the day we used to talk. Our conversations always ended with chill. We're gonna start that again, yo. That's fire.
Chill.
See how good my memory is, ladies and gentlemen? I remember how my son used to begin and end phone conversations. Chill.
Wow, that's crazy.
Chill.
All right,
Remember
y'all.
that.
Once again, that's T
Like you,
Gordon.
Chuck.
Hit him up on Instagram. It's your girl Black Rose, aka the Concrete Rose.
Give me a hug,
If you know
Chucky.
anything about concrete,
Give me a hug. Give
definitely
me a hug.
hard to break.
Love you, B.
Yeah.